everybody. This is Marcus Amaker, the artist in residence at the Gilliard Center and the first poet laureate of Charleston, South Carolina. I'm here with my friend Daniel Green for another edition of Raising the Volume. I'm excited for you all to get to know Daniel's work and to get to know a little bit more about him, because Daniel does a lot of stuff, and we will dig into that right now. But first, yeah, how are you feeling today, my friend?
Pretty good, man. Good vibes. I don't know. I just woke up in a good mood today.
Awesome. That is great. So tell us a little bit about the day, like a typical day for you, because in my mind, when I look at your website and your like Instagram and stuff, you're always doing stuff. So I'm just interested, like, what is sort of like a typical day in your world?
Um, it's always different. A lot of mornings I might like I have some friends I chop it up with like early morning before the day starts. And then I'll probably like cook something to eat. Um, I bounce I bounce between different projects. So I probably have like, one thing I'm working on the first half of the day, second thing I'm working on the second half of the day.
Mhm.
At the same time, so the neighbors.
That's fine.
But at the same time, uh, a lot of communication back and forth with like emails and texts and DMs and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
a lot of times when I'm editing my videos and it's rendering, I'll probably be doing a lot of those things like while I'm waiting for something to buffer.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so I guess let's sort of like back up a little bit. Tell us like all the stuff that you do as a
Oh,
entrepreneur in
yeah.
Charleston. Yeah.
So I do quite a bit of video production. That's what I'm known the most for. I do pretty much everything visual though, photography, design. So I'm pretty much more of like I guess like a creative director in a sense.
Yeah.
Um, so if I have a shoot, then I decide if this is a shoot with me or maybe I have a crew with me. So I'll be organizing them, making sure they're all good because usually like I'm like really like like tunnel vision shoot day. I
Hmm.
always want to make sure that I don't like all my T's are crossed and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um I'm always moving and just doing something from the start of the day till like sometimes like really, really late next morning.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have chosen a lifestyle where you work for yourself. Have you um, considered that lifestyle to be sort of easier than you thought, or is it harder than you thought? Or I guess just what are your thoughts on what it's like to work for yourself? Because I know a lot of people watching, particularly students, this might seem very intriguing to them, like, oh my gosh, I can work for myself and I don't have to have a boss and I get to set my own hours. But yeah, what is the whole experience like for you to work for yourself?
Uh, Working for myself, um, it made me understand the value of all of those things those bosses put you through, like
Mm.
your schedules, micromanaging your break times, um, micromanaging your stats, and setting goals. But the difference is, after like 5 o'clock or whatever, 8 o'clock, most people they clock out and they go home.
Yeah.
you know, um, my stuff's, it's still going. So um in some instances it's easier because you do have the freedom of being able to like set your own schedule and be in charge of things without someone like over your shoulder. But at the same time, it just puts way more responsibility on you,
Mhm.
because now you have to worry about uh, how to get clients, how to manage and take care of your clients, uh, the homework of like editing and pre-production. It's a lot that you have to juggle. So versus being at a job where you kind of have this one position that you fill,
Hmm.
You do this one job, and then this guy over here, he does a different job, and that's all that you do.
Hmm.
My position is like everyone's position.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you on that because we both, do a lot of stuff for a lot of different people. And whenever I am deep into the work, I'm always amazed, one, at, um, yeah, just how like it's possible to juggle a lot of things at once and get things done. But also it's really kind of cool to realize that word of mouth really makes a difference. I know a lot of people who advertise and advertise and might not have a lot of clients, but I think when you work with really good people, they will tell somebody else who will tell somebody else, and you'll start to get work. So how do you get your clients? Like what has been sort of the best method for you to keep getting your video clients or photography or anything like that?
um I do a lot of basically what I do is, right, you want to market to your target audience in a place that they hang out.
Hmm.
So I use social media to not as much promote, like, hey, look at all these projects that I do, or let me talk about camera specs. I'm just laughing and joking and talking about the same thing that everybody else is talking about. And
Yeah.
so they understand my personality more. They get more of a connection with me. So when I give them the splash of whatever project I'm working on, it's like, the content is just as top quality as the person. And
Hmm.
so uh, that's how it was easier for me to get that word of mouth response.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I always say, oh, there's plenty of better poets than me or graphic designers or things like that. But like what I have prided myself in, and I think is what you are, getting at, is your like the personality comes out, and the relationship that you have with people will attract people to your work. And I think that that is definitely true. So yeah, so what is your least favorite thing about working for yourself besides
Uh,
taxes? Because
right.
taxes, I mean, taxes are horrible. I can't stand
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's different than, just being an employee for sure.
Mhm.
But for me, what was the most difficult? Um, what's the word for it? Business sense.
Mm.
Um, you have to know how to talk in a way that you set your boundaries and you clearly communicate your process and your expectations. Um, that was something that I learned the hard way.
Mm.
I found myself in situations where I was being like taken advantage of, or um, I'm blindsided by a variable I didn't think about, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm appreciative of those for those instances, because it really taught me a lot of the things that you do at a job, like a disclaimer that you might tell a customer,
Mhm.
that might have been created from a situation where someone was like, oh man, I need to say this now because I was in a situation.
Mm.
So I pick up on all of those things to build this structure along the way.
Okay. Yeah. And I imagine you've learned a lot along the way too. Like you think about day one of working for yourself and now, what do you think that you have improved on? Because life is always a learning process,
Yes.
and I'm always learning about ways to make things better for myself. But I'm curious about that for you. Like, how have you improved upon your workflow? I guess.
Organization for sure.
Mm, word.
um,
Yeah.
because at first, I wasn't organized at all. I was just really, really creative.
Hmm.
So I would be like, all right, let me capture all this stuff. I'm gonna go back in my cave. When I come back, it's gonna be beautiful. you know.
Oh yeah.
but now I'm creating bigger works of art where I have to communicate to different people, and so I had to uh, organize my creative process in a way that someone else can understand. You know,
Mm. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so in order to do that, I had to like take a video. Say I'm doing an event. When I first started doing events, I would just capture everything I see throughout the event. Start from the door and then move my way around or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, but now when I take an event, I can split it up into segments. So it's like, all right, so what's going on? Are there any performers? Any people speaking? All right, was there a cocktail hour type of situation? I guess weddings kind of taught me that. So I just
Hmm.
like split up the different things that are happening through the day. And so if I need an editor, I can communicate to him and I'm like, okay, cool. So this, and that is going on. And this is how I want to organize those clips to flow, you know?
Yeah. 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 That's awesome. How have so I'm interested in this really. The programs that you use, have those changed over time? Because the reason I ask is because I guess the older I get, there's more apps and stuff that do things quicker than what I'm used to doing it. So used to really like step by step, like Photoshop, yeah, like Premiere Pro. And then of course
Yeah.
now, there's apps, oh, just drag and drop. And so, yeah, what programs do you use and which ones do you find are helpful? Yeah, just curious.
Um, uh, I use, it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing like illustration or graphic design work, most of that's done in Adobe Illustrator.
Mm,
Um, some of my more bells and whistles are done in Photoshop.
yeah,
Um, if I'm doing video work, I primarily use Premiere Pro. And if I'm doing bells and whistles, I'll either do like some fancy tricks in Premiere Pro or I'll take it to After Effects.
yeah,
Um, if I'm doing like multi-page designs, like a book, magazine, or something, I'm using InDesign. Uh, so like when I was in school, we just had to do so many different things. So uh,
yeah,
I use a plethora of softwares. But what I'm finding now is that all softwares have a similar uh, format in a sense.
hmm,
If you never used a software before, you got to find out, just like almost like a car, where's the engine at? I know how to work with an engine once I identify what it is. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's how I pick up on it. But it does blindside me because these updates now, like my process was so tedious compared to what they're doing now.
yeah. I feel you on that. I
Oh
completely,
my gosh.
yeah. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man.
I keep thinking about all the time I would have saved, if there was, but but everything happens for a reason. So it's like, we know like sort of how things work and why things work, instead of
Right.
just doing it and clicking and dragging. And I'm not gonna talk down to anybody that uses apps. I mean, that's completely fine, like because the goal is to get a good product out. But yeah, it's really an interesting thing, right? Just how things have evolved, especially with phones. Because I just like you, I learned on all of the Adobe things, and Canva is out there now and all types of stuff. So
Right.
yeah, yeah,
In
yeah, go ahead.
school, I learned web design on Dreamweaver,
Oh
and
yeah.
by the time I graduated, they said nobody uses Dreamweaver anymore. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. So I guess I'm just waiting for somebody else. All right.
Yeah, where I forgot about Dreamweaver was great. I mean, it definitely was old school, but it definitely worked. I mean, it definitely, yeah.
But it's kind of like if MySpace and Photoshop, came together.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like some coding and then you got some design, but that's why it was harder. Nowadays, like you said, it's like drag and drop. So
yeah,
it's good that they're able to save time and technology, but it's kind of weird how like every time they do that, they do it in a way that untalented people are more talented.
Mm. Oh yeah.
No?
Yeah. Yeah. I always say, there is a nuance to doing things the way that we do that you can't get from an app, and of course these things are marketed as, oh, it's so easy, like build a website in minutes, but like that
Right.
website is going to look like everybody else's website, so there is a nuance to what we do and an understanding to it. But
Yeah.
that's just me. Sometimes I feel like I'm an old man when I talk like that, but I just, like, it's nice to have somebody who actually understands about colors and all types of stuff. Anyway,
Yeah, the whole world, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what kind of advice would you give students? Because one of the best things about this series is that it's turned into a lesson for classrooms. So I
Oh, word.
imagine I imagine there might be some students who like would really want to work for themselves and learn all these tools. Like, what kind of advice would you give them to reach the level that you are at?
Um, the first one is going to sound kind of cliche, but it's going to be believe in yourself.
Hmm,
Um,
yeah.
because I always knew I was dope, but I didn't know I was dope. You know
Where-
what I'm saying?
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, so like the more convinced you are of your own ability, the more you're willing to invest in that.
Mm,
These big companies and stuff like that, these big brands, big artists, big names, what they invest into their brand versus what the average person invests into their brand is so much different because they at some point they believed in themselves that much more.
yeah,
You know what I'm
right on,
saying?
right on.
Because if I know this is going to work, like no doubt in my mind, this is going to work. I wouldn't have a plan B. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
going to work.
Yeah, that is
you
awesome.
know, but
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the main thing for me. Second thing, learn every. My dad told me to learn everything that there is to learn within your subject.
Mm,
So if you do hair, learn how to do everybody hair.
mm.
I was in the barber shop one day and this dude was like, "Yeah, I don't do mohawks. Go to this guy over here." I'm like, "What?"
It's like opportunity missed. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I bring my
so
money elsewhere. Yeah.
then I guess third thing would be like use your resources, because you can literally learn everything out in this world. You just have to know what to look up. That's the thing that people don't know. So you have
Mhm.
to use your resources. Um, if you get education, get education that costs something. Education that doesn't cost anything is the thing that everybody's doing now.
Mm,
You
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's
so
right. There is a YouTube video for everything now.
yeah.
Literally everything.
Everybody's got the same transitions, da da da. Because the video got 1 million views, so you got 1 million people
Mm,
that has the same video now. Like,
yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of things that I appreciate about your work. I've met a lot of people who do creative things, but you can tell that they, yeah, don't believe that they are dope. So,
right,
and I look at your website, I look at your social media and stuff, and I just think that that is a key thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is, you can have all these skills and stuff, but yeah, you have to, you like believe in yourself, and that's the most important thing. And I think that it comes across with you like 1000%. So I just think that that is an awesome thing. Um, if you could have one like dream client, it could be living or dead. Like who would that be? Like, you get an email from somebody like, I would love for you to rebrand me and do videos and do my website. Yeah, so who would that person be?
can I just call people out? I don't have one person.
Sure, sure, yeah, sure.
First person that comes to mind is Ludacris.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, I feel
Okay.
like my style and they might have used several directors at that time, but just what he was putting out, the aesthetic kind of matches like my artistic personality in a sense.
Hmm.
Um, so I can definitely see myself working with someone like Ludacris, Missy Elliott, um, in today's time, be like Amine. Uh, I'm saying these out loud because I'm trying to manifest them.
Yeah. Hey man, you never know, man. Gilliard has a large reach, so you never know. You,
Yeah.
yeah, that is awesome.
Companies. Oh, I really want to work for Old Spice. Yeah.
Why? Why is that?
Old Spice has the craziest commercials. Them and Mountain Dew.
Oh, that's right.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So Old Spice, they kind of pioneered the set redecoration within the commercial. So I
Hmm.
really like that. And then Mountain Dew, they kind of push barriers artistically a lot. So yeah.
Wow, that is cool. I never would have thought you would have said that. That's a trip. Um, is it,
Yeah.
are you the type that, is it hard for you? Well, I don't know if hard is the word, but if you watch a video, are you thinking about the way that it was edited and stuff? Like, is it hard for you to sort of like step back and just enjoy something? Um,
And yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's at the point now where like um I have a different lens that I'm looking at the video, because when I was learning how to shoot, I was like, oh yeah, they use a Dutch angle because something crazy about to happen.
Wow. Yeah.
And then editing same way. So now I'm looking at shows that from like a producer's point of view. So
Mm,
I'm breaking down the different scenes or the segments of a show to see how it was written. So every time I go through the process of watching something and not being able to watch it without breaking it down, I'm probably doing it from a different perspective. So
mm.
that's how I can keep it interesting without just being like too educated about it.
Yeah, word. Yeah. Yeah, it's I can definitely, yeah, relate to you. It's sometimes it's hard for me to even like listen to music sometimes, especially electronic music, because I'm like, oh, like I know how they did that, and I'm immediately thinking about how it's done instead of being able to just step back and just like enjoy it. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing when we start to do work like this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I do have to say, like I think that anybody local should look you up because I don't know, like you're like aesthetic. I think is great. You add some magic to what people are doing, and I just think it's beneficial for artists or anyone really to invest in themselves. And and it's nice to hire Black creatives in Charleston, to do that. What has it been like for you to work with so many great local people? Like your list of local folks is pretty long, and it's awesome. So yeah, I mean, what is that like? Because I think that you are a big part of this local scene now.
Thank you. Uh, the funny thing is like I didn't keep up with a lot of names, so like I'll do like an event or do a shoot for someone, and I don't know that this person's big, you know,
Where yeah, yeah, yeah.
because like coming up, people were following up pop culture, and people shame me for it now. It's all good, but I ain't really like keep up with who's who and stuff because I was like, they don't know me. I want to
Word.
meet these guys, and I wanted to be like, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Da da da. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like if you meet guys as a celebrity, you're meeting them for the wrong reasons. You
Mm,
know?
yeah, word. That is,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's it's cool finding the different connections through Charleston. Because if I want to work with someone, I'll like find myself working with someone within their network, and then that person reaches out.
Hmm. Yeah,
'Cause Charleston's small, so it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
been in that sense.
That is great. And I guess the last thing I'll ask, unless you have something to add, is what do you do for self-care? Like, what does that mean for you?
I just started drawing again, and I've been so excited.
Oh, sweet, sweet.
Yeah. Um,
That's
'Cause,
awesome.
I hadn't created for myself in a really long time.
Hmm.
Because I find creativity in the projects that I do, and so like I don't really get bored like another person would get bored by doing something not really interesting, you know? Because I
Hmm.
to find interest in it, so I'm always having fun with it. But like I started doing videos because I wanted to make dope dance videos, but I didn't know anybody good enough to film the videos I wanted to have filmed.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, so what is it about the videos that I like that I want to use? So that's how I kind of went down the rabbit hole. So now, you know, if you see me do a dance video, you know, I'm kind of, that's my self-care.
That is awesome. And that's such a great answer, because so many people, when they answer that, it's never the thing that they're doing, for their work or whatever. It's always like, oh, I take naps, or which napping is fine. But the fact that your self-care is your work, like, that is awesome. So that makes me happy. Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to add that maybe, you didn't get to? Because this is your chance, because Ludacris is going to watch this, so um, you never know, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. My biggest thing's been mentality. Because like the way I used to think when I was first starting, you know, it just wasn't as successful as the way I'm thinking now.
Okay.
Um, uh, I used to think people were like fabricating, or as the kids say, cap when they say like positive affirmations and stuff, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
uh,
That's
like
funny.
people will be like, yeah, just think positive, and you know, positive things happen. I'm like, bruh, but I'm literally broke.
Yeah. Like, if only it
You
were
know,
that
so
that easy, right? Like, money, money, money.
yeah,
Um,
right, you know. But you know, it's really to the point where I'm recognizing in conversation, because I have purposeful conversations with people. So if I'm talking to one person about something, I might leave from that person, go somewhere else. I meet with someone else, and we have a conversation on a similar topic.
mm,
You know, it just gets deep for me after a while. But at first, I thought it was like, man, it ain't that deep, da 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 da. You know,
mm, yeah.
um, but I feel like growth as an artist is synonymous with your growth as a person. You know, so that's one
Yeah.
thing that I always want to preach, especially when I see somebody in their beginning stages, because you know, procrastination slows down a lot of folk.
Mm,
Um, Lukewarm belief in yourself slows
yeah.
down a lot of folk.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. That is great. And I think a lot of people might find that to be, yeah, like a challenging thing to really believe in yourself. But I think that once you do, and it's something that we can work on, because the power of words, like, if you really have those affirmations, I really do think that things will change for you. So that is great, and that's cool to hear. And I'm happy for all the things that have happened for you. And I'm happy for Old Spice, to contact you soon. So um, all right. Well,
yeah,
yeah. How do people find you? What's your website and Instagram and TikTok and all
yeah.
that?
It's Art of Daniel Green. You know, whatever you're on.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, my Instagram, Facebook, and my website are my main thing. artofdanielgreen.com.
Art of Daniel Green. Okay, sweet. Yeah, and then we will have a link to that below this video here. Yeah, thank you for being here. Again, I'm Marcus. This is Raising the Volume, and we will hopefully see you soon. See y'all later.
Sure, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.